Hello, welcome back. If you've been here before, if you haven't, hi.
2021, we can have some fun. Maybe we could run. I could be the one. Maybe you're the one.
I'm gonna do my February wrap-up. It's just a short video because I only actually read 2 books this month. Last month. It's like we're a week into March already. I read 2 books. I read Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste and I read Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. What to say? I enjoyed both of these books. It was kind of interesting to read 2 sort of upper class mysteries in the same month. It was quite interesting to see how that sort of felt like tonally and how they sort of compared to each other, which obviously I wasn't like intentionally doing. I'm not comparing each book I read. I'm literally just reading them as they are, sort of judging them as themselves. Interestingly, both of these have been adapted into visual adaptations. Gone Girl's a film and Little Fires Everywhere is a series. I haven't finished the series because, like the book, it takes a while to get going. In fact, this book, it drops you right in the middle of the, like sort of at the end of the plot, with the house being on fire, and that's obviously like a good hook. And then we kind of go back to before Mia and Pearl arrive in Shaker Heights, and it's just very passive in voice. It's interesting. I don't really know how to describe it. We get a lot of character backstory in order to sort of make sense of what's happening and how characters react to circumstances, and that is interesting because it's sort of slightly psychological based, and I find that really interesting. But it just sort of takes you out of the action too much because you're suddenly like, oh, okay, we're with Mia in New York, and then we're like, wait, but she's currently in Shaker Heights with his daughter, so I don't know, it kind of slowed the book down. But it was still well written. It was very Celeste Ng loves like a long description, so they were good descriptions, but they were quite long. Ruby's trying to get out. Ruby has got out. I'm gonna shut the door again. Which just kind of made it feel quite slow and sort of like you were trudging along rather than you were being pulled along. Like you were having to get through the stuff to find out what happened. And although I find that really interesting, and I liked the sort of thematic use of like motherhood and loss, that was very interesting. It was as like a fun read or as like a non-academic. It was, you know, I wanted to be pulled along, I wanted to be enticed, and I half was, but I was also felt like I was also being like punched in the stomach at each step. Like someone was attached to my foot and I was having to drag myself along. Like I wanted to walk down the corridor, but I was being pulled back by the writing. So I don't know, it was strange. I still gave it 4 stars because I found it really interesting, and the writing is like, I don't know, I can't say I didn't enjoy it, but I can't seem to quite say I loved it. So I would recommend it, but if you're wanting like if you're wanting like an exciting, sort of twisty, like enticing read this instead. Yeah, 4 stars. I think this was the 4th or 5th book I read this year. 4. This was the 4th book I read. And a good one. I did enjoy it. I'm not shitting on it. I just, you know when you just finish a book and you're like, okay, I've done that. But it was still good. Oh, I don't know. I feel so bad. It was also had a really good ending. It wasn't overly explained or overly open. It was like a good sort of satisfying feeling to it, which I appreciated. I think I would have probably rated it lower had that not been the case, because if we'd ended on slow, like, I probably wouldn't have given it 4 stars. But it was still well done. Then the next one I read was Gone Girl. What to say about this? Obviously, going into it, I knew that it was very popular. I think I bought the book when the movie came out. I didn't see the movie. The only thing I knew about this was I'd read a very small extract in a high school book club, and I knew it was about like a bad husband. right? So I read the first sort of, I guess, I don't know, 50 pages. And then I watched the film because I wanted the sort of wow factor of the shocks to come at me visually, which obviously they did within the film. And I was just absolutely hooked. Like, the story was incredible. Obviously, I think Gillian Flynn wrote the screenplay for it, or at least sort of advised on it, so she obviously knew what she wanted. And it was amazing. So then coming into the book, obviously you'd sort of half expect it to not be that exciting because I knew the plot, but the way it's written is so well done. The fact that we've got Nick in the present and we've got Amy in the past, like catching up through diary form, is so interesting, the sort of change of perspective, as well as the fact that obviously you as an English lit student, you're going to read a diary entry as slightly contrived, knowing that actually it's written sort of without an audience, but in Amy's case it's written for an audience. Like, she knows who she wants to read it, which is really interesting to pick up on. And then the same with Nick, it's his stream of consciousness, so you're inside his head, so you're kind of like, you know, he's trying to deceive you in how he says things and how he thinks things. It's so interesting, like, and I've heard amazing things about Sharp Objects and, oh, I don't know what the other one's called, Dark Places. So I'm definitely going to read those. I gave this 5 stars. I loved the movie. I loved the book. It was so interesting, so well done, so clever. I'm like in awe that she came up with that plot and those characters and did them so well. Like, she could have really come up with a great plot and then just not written it well enough, but it's so well written. So that's what I read for February 2021. I only read 2. That is quite a chunky book. This was just so slow that I think when I finished it, I read it fairly quickly, about just over a week I think it took me, but when I finished it I think I just was in a bit of a slump of like, I was tired, so that's why it took me a while to pick this up, but then when I did, I loved it. So that's what I read for February, and I hope you enjoyed this video. You can keep up with my reading on my Instagram at artawaytheworld. I'll put a little thing here. That is where I kind of document my reading more often. I hope you enjoyed hearing me waffle about books. Again, I've already waffled about this one. I did a reading vlog for this. Go check that out. And yeah, that's what I read. I'm gonna read some more exciting things this month. Bye.